Hello, good morning. We are going to do the first walkthrough of the course, which is really exciting. Coming up until our first Q&A this evening, which will run for 20 to 30 minutes. Happy for it to run longer. It might take a couple of weeks and we don't take as long for this first one, but we can sort of get into more stuff as more of the recipes are tried and that sort of thing. But if you can join us tonight at 6:30, that would be amazing. These will all be recorded and they'll stay in the group, so you've got access to them whenever you need. And think of those mini tutorials where you can just see what I'm doing, find out about the ingredients I'm using along the way, and be able to use it in your everyday life. So as you would have seen by the title, we are massaging kale. I love kale for lots of reasons, and we're talking from, I think it's page 16 in Nourish and Delight. I love kale for many reasons, not because of any of the reasons that, you know, the fact that it's a superfood doesn't really sit well with me. I think most real food is pretty super. What I love about kale is that it's super affordable. So you'll pay $4 even for a beautiful, big, organic bunch. And it's the majority of it is usable as well. And the other thing that I love about it is, compared to baby spinach, you can put a whole bag of baby spinach in a pan and it disappears. Awesome for getting a lot of bang for your buck if you don't like veggies. But in terms of feeling like you're eating abundantly, that really, and that you've got lots on your plate and it's not looking like it's all just disappeared into nothing, even though you knew the substance was there in the first place, kale holds its own pretty well. So they're the main reasons I love it. And I hope that you will love it too. What I don't love about it is the fact that it's raw and really difficult to digest. So most people, and we'll talk about this a lot as well, and most people when they're starting to do the healthy thing, they've done it because they're feeling tired and a bit off in the tummy and they're wanting to improve things. That generally means that your digestive system's going to be a little bit compromised. So if you put something raw and like really difficult to digest into your tummy, you're likely going to end up bloated because you don't have the strength within your digestive system to be able to digest it, which is going to not make you feel very great. Thus, your motivation to continue to compel yourself to take more sort of health promoting steps in your life is going to be reduced. Why would you continue, you know, our bodies are geared for pleasure. Why would you continue to do something that didn't make you feel good? So what I'm going to walk you through today is how I like to prepare kale to optimize it for digestion and improve its flavor. In the workshops, and if you've seen me speak at all, I will talk about people that defend their love of kale. They'll like munch on it raw like that in a cafe and be like, oh, this is so delicious. I don't believe them. I think there are so many people that eat this and defend it because it should be good for them, which is a lot of what kind of happens in the wellness industry. Is that because it is a trend, because it does kind of roll like that. Yeah, people don't actually admit that they don't like it. If you don't like kale, there are plenty of other greens you can try. I would ask you to try it this way because my kale conversion rates on preparing it this way are pretty high. But it is that real kind of practical aspect that I want to keep coming back to throughout all of this. People are getting healthy before kale, before green smoothies. There are many ways to find the wiggle room that you need. First port of call, if you've listened to the audios in this week, hydration, sunshine, movement. These are all things that don't cost anything and you don't even need to be in the kitchen yet, that are going to help still look after your digestive system, look after your energy, look after your cravings and your happiness. So looking at that whole picture holistically, I think is a really beautiful way to kind of head into our first demo. I am using the most beautiful things today that I'm going to show off to you. They are from Kinfolk & Co. A gorgeous friend of mine, Asja. We're running a workshop in Brisbane. Our first of what I hope is many, but she has the most delicious handmade products. I'm really excited to be using them. I love them. Even an old school juicer. No more of the Jamie Oliver through the fingers. I mean, I'm probably still always going to do that, but this is just stunning. I love it. So, kale, that's why I love it. How am I going to prepare it for digestion? Well, as I said before, this is difficult to digest. There's not a whole lot of open cut surface area for our gut and digestive juices to act on in terms of being able to get our digestive juices to start to break it down, which may even mean initially in your health journey that you might even find undigested bits of kale in the toilet as well. It'll just pass straight through you untouched because it hasn't had the surface of it. I don't know if you can see, like, it's super tough, it's protected. It's a really rough kind of green. It's super protected. So we're wanting to break through that physically. For this kale salad, I don't use the stems. I do just use the leaf. If I'm cooking it, if I'm going to chuck it in a stew, I'll use it all. That's totally fine. I'll just grab a few here. So I layer these beautiful leaves that I've cut off all on top of each other so that I can roll them. It's always awesome when you get the really good flat ones. So I layer them all on top of each other like a flat pancake. Roll it. So if we're going to get technical, this is like a chiffonade. And then sharp knife, not a blunt knife. Blunt knives are just dangerous in the kitchen. And shred it finely. What we're doing here is actually physically cutting through the cell membrane. Physically doing that is already making it easier on your digestive system. The other thing, which is really cool that it is doing, is, and I'll show you as I get to the end here, as I hold it over a bowl, don't think I'm just sprinkling it on my bench. Can you see all that extra surface area that we've created? So that's already an awesome step towards optimizing it for your digestion. Yum. Kale and a lot of leafy greens are a really nice source of plant-based iron, but they need some vitamin C to go with them to help with that non-heme iron uptake. So the next step is going to kind of bring those two things into play. We are going to use an acid. I'm going to use a combination of lemon and lime. You can just use lemon, you can just use lime. You can even use, and I've got them here, a good apple cider vinegar that has the mother in it. That's like the gooby bits that you can find in the bottom. Using a acid like balsamic vinegar or a beautiful champagne vinegar are going to be fine as well. What you're wanting is that acidic kind of vinegar that's going to kind of marinate the green a little bit as well, pre-digesting it a little bit, getting all of the nutrients sort of coming out of the kale as well to be able to help our body get the most out of it, get the most bang for the buck out of the amount of kale that we need. The cool thing about that is that once we've prepared it, we're actually going to need less of it, which I think is always good, especially if we're on the run and we're not going to sit and chew through a whole bowl, knowing that you can get a couple of forkfuls of that, a forkful of fermented foods, pop a boiled egg on it and half an avocado, and you've got a really nourishing lunch. The other cool thing that I love